I'm done keeping your secrets. Those are the words every Duggar follower expected to hear for years. But what if the most explosive secret wasn't a public confession, but a private digital trail? Tonight, we are deconstructing a bombshell. Reports have surfaced of a leaked email sent from Anna Duggar to her brother-in-law, Joseph, while he was behind bars, at the exact same time Kendra was reportedly in custody. Why was Anna reaching out to Joseph instead of Kendra? Was this a gesture of family solidarity, or a calculated move to ensure the family's narrative stayed airtight? This isn't just a leak. This is the cracking of the foundation. Stay with us for the next hour as we peel back the layers of the most secretive family in reality TV history. You won't want to miss the specific wording in paragraph 3. It changes everything we thought we knew about Anna's loyalty. To understand the weight of this email, we have to go back to the moment the walls closed in. We've followed the Duggars through 19 kids and counting, and counting on, but the cameras were long gone when the real drama started. In 5 minutes, we'll look at the specific legal loophole that allowed this email to be flagged. The legal pressure on the family wasn't just central to one individual, it rippled through the siblings. When Joseph and Kendra's names began appearing in legal filings, the community on Reddit and Facebook went into a frenzy. The Duggars have always preached umbrella of protection, but what happens when the umbrella is riddled with holes? Historically, Anna has been the good wife, the one who stood by the gate. But the leaked correspondence suggests a shift in focus. Joseph, usually the most quiet and reserved of the brothers, became a focal point of communication. The email, dated during the height of the legal proceedings, allegedly bypasses the usual pleasantries. According to sources close to the family's legal circle, the tone was urgent and instructional. In many correctional facilities, JPay or similar systems monitor every word. Anna would have known this. So why take the risk? Community analysts on R. Duggar Snark have theorized that Anna was acting as a messenger for Jim Bob, but the personal nuances in the text suggest something deeper. She mentions Kendra, not with the warmth of a sister-in-law, but with the caution of a strategist. Ensure she understands the cost of speaking out. If verified, these words aren't just family advice, they are potential witness tampering. Joseph and Kendra were always the golden couple of the later seasons. Their innocence was their brand. But when Kendra was brought into the periphery of the investigation, that brand shattered. Coming up, we analyze the secret code words Anna used to describe the family's financial trust. Why would Anna target Joseph? Because Joseph has always been the bridge. By controlling the information flow to Joseph, the family hierarchy ensures Kendra stays silent. We look back at Season 10, Episode 4, where Anna and Kendra shared a moment in the kitchen. Looking back now, the power dynamic is chilling. Anna wasn't just a friend, she was a mentor in the Duggar way, which often means silence at all costs. The internet doesn't sleep. Within hours of the leak being discussed, fans began connecting dots to previous, lost, episodes. If Anna Duggar is facilitating communication between parties in custody regarding ongoing testimony, she is playing a dangerous game with the Department of Justice. On Facebook, the Duggar family news pages are divided. Some see Anna as a victim trying to hold a crumbling house together. Others see her as a willing participant in a cover-up. What does this mean for the future of the Duggars? This email is the first piece of hard evidence that the inner circle, is worried. If Anna is willing to document these instructions in an email, it suggests a level of desperation we haven't seen since the 2015 scandals. Joseph's eventual release and Kendra's current status remain shrouded in NDAs, but the digital footprint remains. The legacy of Jim Bob Duggar is no longer about counting on, it's about counting the days until the next leak. Anna Duggar once said that, "The truth will set you free." But in the world of the Duggars, the truth often comes with a price tag that no one can afford to pay. Follow the money. It's the oldest rule in investigative journalism, and the Duggars are no exception. But why does a leaked email between Anna and Joseph mention vehicle sales and outstanding bills? In 10 minutes, we reveal the specific bank account Anna mentions that has the fans in a total uproar. Recent filings show that just before Joseph's arrest on March 18, 2026, a property once owned by Joseph and Kendra was quietly deeded back to the Caldwell family. In the leaked correspondence, Anna allegedly asks Joseph if the transition of the deed was finalized before the investigators arrived. Why the rush to move assets? On the popular YouTube channel True Crime Today, analysts suggest this wasn't just about housing, it was about protecting the family's wealth from potential civil lawsuits. If Kendra is in custody, her ability to protect these assets is zero. Anna, who has become the family's unofficial legal liaison, seems to be the one holding the ledger. For years, the Caldwells and the Duggars were inseparable. Paul Caldwell, Kendra's father, didn't just officiate the wedding, he was a spiritual pillar for the family. But the leaked email suggests a massive rift. Anna reportedly tells Joseph, "Paul is asking for too much. We cannot cover their housing costs if they don't stick to the script." This aligns with the recent GoFundMe launched by the Caldwell family, a shocking move for a family that usually keeps their financial struggles behind closed doors. Think about the emotional weight. While Kendra is facing charges of child endangerment, her own husband's family, led by Anna's communication, seems to be pressuring her father. Is the umbrella of protection now being used as a weapon of leverage? Fans on Facebook have pointed out that Kendra's family photos have begun to exclude Joseph entirely. The email is the smoking gun that confirms this isn't just a legal battle, it's a family war. Let's analyze the psychology of Anna Duggar. She has spent her entire adult life defending the indefensible. From Josh's initial scandals to his federal conviction, she has been the fortress. In this leaked message, we see a different Anna. She isn't just a supportive wife, she is an architect. She uses language like compliance, narrative control, and divine silence. This is the Netflix docudrama moment, the transformation of a victim into a strategist. Dr. Insert expert name, a cult recovery specialist, suggests that Anna's communication with Joseph is a classic trauma bond behavior. By keeping Joseph in line, she validates her own choice to stay with Josh. If Joseph breaks, the entire Duggar house of cards, the one she sacrificed her life to build, collapses. Let's deep dive in full details. Anna Duggar sits at the center of a story that refuses to fade. A story shaped by loyalty, silence, public scrutiny, and the weight of a last name that has come to mean very different things over time. In recent months, a new claim has begun circulating online. A supposed leaked email. A private message, allegedly sent from Anna Duggar to a member of the extended Duggar family, has sparked speculation, debate, and renewed attention. But what is actually known, and what is simply rumor? Tonight, we step into the timeline, the facts, the voices, and the emotional reality behind the headlines. This is not just about a message. This is about a family, a belief system, and the long shadow of controversy. To understand the current moment, we need to go back. Anna Duggar first entered the public eye through the TLC reality series, 19 Kids and Counting. Introduced as the wife of Josh Duggar, Anna was presented as soft-spoken, devoted, and deeply rooted in conservative Christian values. Her role, at least on-screen, was clear: a supportive wife, a mother, and a believer in a structured, faith-driven life. But that image would be tested. In 2015, the Duggar family faced its first major public crisis when reports surfaced involving Josh Duggar's past misconduct. The situation escalated further with the Ashley Madison scandal, where Josh publicly admitted to infidelity. At that time, Anna issued a statement saying, "I am humiliated and heartbroken. I never imagined that I would be in this position." Despite the public fallout, Anna remained with her husband, a decision that would define public perception of her for years. For some, it was seen as loyalty. For others, it raised questions about agency, pressure, and belief systems. Fast forward to 2021. Josh Duggar was arrested and later convicted on federal charges related to child sexual abuse material. In December of that year, he was found guilty and subsequently sentenced to over 12 years in prison. Anna was present during the trial. She stood by him throughout the legal proceedings. And once again, the public reacted. Some expressed sympathy. Others expressed disbelief. Online discussions intensified, especially across platforms like Reddit, YouTube, and Facebook groups dedicated to Duggar family analysis. One Reddit user wrote, "I don't understand how she stays. There has to be more going on behind the scenes." Another commented, "She's been raised in a system where leaving isn't really an option." That context matters. These reactions reflect a broader divide in how Anna Duggar is perceived. Is she a victim of circumstance? Or an active participant in her own decisions? Now, in the present day, a new claim has emerged. The so-called leaked email. According to various online posts, this message was allegedly sent by Anna Duggar to Joseph Duggar, while referencing a sensitive situation involving another family member. However, it is critical to state clearly, there is no verified evidence that such an email exists. No confirmed source. No authenticated document. No official reporting from credible outlets. What exists instead is speculation. Screenshots without origin, text shared without verification, and interpretations layered on top of assumptions. This is not uncommon in high-profile families, especially ones with a long history of media exposure. So why has this rumor gained traction? Part of the answer lies in the Duggar family's structure itself. The family is deeply connected through both blood and shared belief systems, often associated with the Institute in Basic Life Principles, or IBLP. This framework emphasizes authority, hierarchy, and strict gender roles. Within that structure, communication, especially private communication, takes on added meaning. A message, real or not, becomes more than just words. It becomes a symbol of loyalty, of division, of possible internal conflict. Let's look at the emotional layer. Anna Duggar is now a mother of 7 children. Her life has been shaped by public scrutiny for over a decade. And yet, very little is known about her private thoughts. She does not maintain a strong public social media presence. She rarely gives interviews. And since her husband's conviction, she has remained largely out of the spotlight. This silence creates space. Space for interpretation. Space for projection. And space for rumors to grow. On YouTube, reaction channels have dissected the alleged email line by line. One creator stated, "If this is real, it changes everything we think we know about Anna." But again, the key word is, if. Because without verification, the discussion becomes less about fact and more about narrative. Let's step back and consider the broader pattern. The Duggar family has experienced multiple moments where private matters became public. From court cases to internal disagreements, the boundary between personal and public has often been blurred. In past episodes of Counting On, there were subtle hints of differing perspectives among family members. Jill Duggar, for example, later spoke openly about distancing herself from certain family expectations. In a 2023 interview, she stated, "There was a lot of control in our lives. It took time to figure out what we believed for ourselves." That statement alone suggests that not all family members share identical viewpoints. Which brings us back to the present rumor. If an email like this were real, it could imply internal divisions. But without evidence, it remains hypothetical. Now let's explore the legal context. Because any communication involving individuals connected to ongoing or past legal cases carries weight. Federal cases, such as the one involving Josh Duggar, are handled with strict procedural oversight. Inmate communication, including emails, is monitored. Systems like TRULINCS, used in federal prisons, record and track outgoing messages. This raises an important question. If such an email existed, how would it be leaked? And through whom? These are questions that, so far, have no answers. Online communities continue to debate. On Facebook groups, some users express concern. This feels like people are just making things up now. Others remain convinced. Where there's smoke, there's fire. This divide highlights a larger issue in digital culture: the speed at which information spreads, and the difficulty of separating truth from assumption. So what does this mean for Anna Duggar? In the long term, narratives like this can shape public perception more than verified facts. Even unproven claims can influence how a person is viewed, especially when they are already part of a controversial story. For Anna, the impact is layered. There is the personal reality, raising children, navigating life after a highly public trial. And then there is the public narrative, one that continues to evolve, often without her input. There is also the question of identity. Who is Anna Duggar outside of the headlines? That is something the public has never fully seen. And perhaps never will. As we close, one thing becomes clear. The story is not just about a message. It is about the space between what is known and what is believed. Between documented fact and online speculation. Between public image and private reality. And in that space, stories take shape. Some grounded in truth, others built on assumption, but all part of a larger narrative that continues to unfold. For now, the alleged email remains exactly what it is: unverified, unconfirmed, and deeply debated. There is something striking about silence. Not the absence of sound, but the absence of response. In an era where public figures often respond instantly to controversy, Anna Duggar has chosen a different path. She has said very little. No public denial of the alleged email. No confirmation. No direct engagement with the rumors circulating online. And that silence has become part of the story itself. For some observers, it reinforces the idea that something is being hidden. For others, it suggests exhaustion, or a deliberate attempt to protect what little privacy remains. A YouTube commenter wrote, "People expect her to respond, but maybe she's just done explaining herself to the world." Silence, in this context, becomes open to interpretation. And interpretation fuels speculation. In online communities, a new kind of investigator has emerged. Not journalists, not legal experts, but everyday viewers. Reddit threads stretch for hundreds of comments, analyzing timestamps, language patterns, and supposed screenshots. Users compare writing styles. They examine punctuation. They look for inconsistencies. One Reddit post reads, "The wording doesn't sound like Anna. It feels off." Another counters, "You can't judge tone from a screenshot. People write differently in private." This form of crowdsourced analysis has become common in modern internet culture. But it raises an important question. When does curiosity cross into assumption? And when does analysis become fiction? The Duggar family has always emphasized unity. A large household, shared beliefs, a collective identity. But pressure changes dynamics. Over the years, subtle differences have become more visible. Some siblings have stepped away from the spotlight. Others have maintained a quieter presence. And a few have begun to speak more openly about their experiences. These shifts suggest that the family is not as uniform as it once appeared on television. If the alleged email were real, it could indicate tension beneath the surface. But even without confirmation, the idea alone reflects a growing public perception that the Duggar family is evolving. And not always in the same direction. The Duggar family was introduced to the world through carefully edited television. Moments were selected. Narratives were shaped. Conflicts were minimized. What viewers saw was a version of reality. But reality itself is always more complex. Since the end of Counting On, there has been no central platform shaping the family's image. Instead, the narrative has shifted to social media, forums, and independent content creators. This decentralization changes everything. There is no single source of truth. Only fragments. And in those fragments, stories are built. Why do people believe unverified stories? The answer is not simple. Part of it comes from existing narratives. When a person is already associated with controversy, new claims can feel believable, even without evidence. This is known as confirmation bias. People tend to accept information that aligns with what they already think. In Anna Duggar's case, public opinion is already divided. So when a rumor appears, it is often filtered through those existing beliefs. One viewer might see it as proof. Another might see it as fabrication. Both are influenced by perspective. Often overlooked in public discussions are the children. Anna Duggar is raising 7 children in the aftermath of a highly publicized legal case. They are growing up in a world where their family name is widely recognized. And where online conversations are only a search away. The long-term effects of this kind of exposure are difficult to measure. But experts in child psychology often emphasize the importance of stability, privacy, and support. In situations like this, maintaining those elements becomes more challenging, especially when public attention does not fade. Faith has always been central to the Duggar family's identity. It shapes decisions, it informs relationships, and it provides a framework for understanding difficult situations. For Anna Duggar, faith may play a key role in how she navigates the present. In past statements, she has referenced forgiveness, commitment, and trust in a higher plan. These beliefs can offer strength, but they can also create expectations. Expectations about loyalty, about endurance, about what it means to stay. Understanding this context is essential when analyzing her choices, because without it, those choices can seem confusing, or even contradictory. There is another shift happening. A quieter one. Some viewers are beginning to disengage. After years of headlines, updates, and speculation, a portion of the audience is simply tired. A Facebook user wrote, "It feels like the same story over and over. I just hope the kids are okay." This fatigue changes the tone of the conversation. Less outrage, less intensity, but also less attention. And in that space, stories can either fade or evolve into something new. Let's consider the hypothetical. If the alleged email were proven to be real, what would it actually change? Would it alter legal outcomes? No. Would it redefine past events? Not necessarily, but it could shift perception. It could suggest internal conversations that differ from public appearances. It could add complexity to Anna Duggar's role within the family. And it could raise new questions about communication, trust, and alignment among family members. But again, this remains hypothetical. Because without verification, there is no confirmation. Stories like this do not end suddenly. They evolve. New information may emerge, or it may not. Public interest may grow, or it may fade. But the core elements remain. A public figure, a private life, and an audience trying to understand both. Anna Duggar's story is still unfolding. Not in headlines alone, but in daily life, away from cameras, away from speculation. And perhaps that is where the most important part of the story exists. Not in what is rumored, but in what is real, even if it remains unseen. In the end, the alleged email is only one piece of a much larger narrative. A narrative shaped by history, belief, media, and human complexity. And as with many stories like this, the truth is not always loud. Sometimes, it is quiet. Sometimes, it is incomplete. And sometimes, it is still waiting to be understood. Was Anna protecting Joseph, or was she silencing Kendra? Tell us your theory in the comments below. We're hearting the most insightful responses. And if you want to see our deep dive into the hidden assets mentioned in this leak, click the video on the left. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. The shadows are disappearing, and we are here to shine the light. I'm Sister Wives Buzz, and this was the silent message.